Welcome to Reading Under the Covers, a romance novel podcast where we chat, fangirl, and maybe even swoon over our latest reads. I'm Francesca from Under the Covers Book Blog, and today we've got a special treat for you guys. Author Virginia Heath is joining us to talk about her latest Regency rom-com, Look Before You Leap. This is book 2 in the Miss Prentice's Protégées series, and it's perfect for you if you're into some grumpy sunshine pairings, historical hijinks, or heroines who would rather climb trees than embroidered napkins. Now, we did talk about this book in our new releases roundup during our Novel Hour live show this week, so if you didn't catch that, make sure you watch the replay, whether that is on YouTube or on the podcast, and that way you'll get the full list of new releases we highlighted this week. But Virginia is here today to spill some of her go-to authors, what she's been reading lately, including some cowboy romance, which I personally did not see coming. And to top things off, I'm also going to be sharing a quick throwback clip from earlier this year where Suzanne gave us her take and recommendation on All's Fair in Love and War, which is the first book in this series. Spoiler alert, she loved all the chaotic energy, the grumpy military hero, and the messy dog. But before we jump into Virginia's book, can we just take a second to appreciate how underrated I think historical rom-coms are? Like, yes, for me, give me all the corsets and country estates, but also some heroines that are total chaos and lords who are one eye roll away from a meltdown. That is exactly what Virginia Heath delivers in this series, and Look Before You Leap is no exception. So Virginia stopped by to talk about her new release, her obsession with cowboy romances, and some of her favorite authors. So with that, let's give her a warm welcome to the Reading Under the Covers podcast to share more about Look Before You Leap and her favorite authors.
Hello there, I'm Virginia Heath, and I'm here today to talk to you about my upcoming release, Look Before You Leap. But before I do, let me tell you a little bit about me. Firstly, this accent is completely real. I am a Londoner, a Brit to my core, born in London, raised in London, still live in London, absolutely love London. So it kind of features quite a bit in my books. I used to be a history teacher, which I suppose comes in handy when you write historical rom-coms. And I have been a lifelong reader, and most especially a romance reader. So go-to authors for me are, well, it depends what sort of mood I'm in. And at the moment, I'm definitely going through a bit of a contemporary rom-com phase. So I've been gobbling up absolutely everything that Tessa Bailey's written. I really like her stories. I really like her voice. I really quite like the spice in her books as well, which is probably why I stick spice in mine. I'm also going through a bit of a cowboy phase, which is a bit bizarre for someone from London who has never ever in her life been anywhere where cowboys are. But I've been going through a Lila Sage phase, and I really enjoyed Done and Dusted. And I've just finished Wild and Wrangled, the final one in the series. So I feel a bit bereft, really. I need a new cowboy romance to read. Go-to authors as well, if I'm in a historical mood, I love Sabrina Jeffries, I love Evie Dunsmore, Manda Collins, Martha Waters, obviously Julia Quinn, who kind of was my gateway really into historical romance, because before that I only ever read contemporary because I taught history. But if I was going to recommend one author to you, it's got to be Nora Roberts, who is my absolute idol. The way that woman can craft a brilliant story and keep you on the edge of your seat is something I aspire to be able to do. If you've never read her, then start with my absolute favourite book of all time, which is Montana Sky. It is 3 separate romances, 3 happily ever afters, and 1 serial killer on the loose. I mean, what's not to like about that? So let me tell you now a little bit about Look Before You Leap, which is the second of my Miss Prentice's Protégées series, but like all my books, it's a standalone. So this particular story, it focuses on Lottie and Guy. And I was very much inspired by the Hollywood musical Calamity Jane, which as a kid I watched all the time. So Lottie is a tomboy. She climbs a tree better than she embroiders. She has an annoying habit of riding side saddle on horses, and if she can't get a, not a side saddle, riding astride on horses, and if she can't find a horse, she has a bit of a tendency to steal them, which means that well, borrow them really, which means that she ends up getting dismissed from her last job for taking the boss's stallion out. In desperation, she takes a temporary position as a lady's companion to the very grumpy old dragon Lady Frinton. And she ends up going to a country estate where she meets Guy, the Viscount Wellington, who is a proper grump. This is a grumpy sunshine. He's been burned by love in the past. And well, shenanigans ensue because she's there because he's having a surprise birthday party for his 30th birthday, which he has no idea is happening. His mother, frustrated that he refuses to get married after he got burned by love, has invited 15 desperate debutantes to his estate, and Lottie and Guy come together as they're both trying to save him from these women who are all desperate to marry him. So obviously there's a spark between them. In fact, it's fairly insta lust, but there's a difference in their stations. He's wary of love, and she's just impetuous and always looks before she leaps. So I'm really excited about this one. It's getting fantastic reviews, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.
How fun was that? I was definitely not expecting her to be a cowboy fan, but lots of recommendations there for you guys to check out as well. And you can't tell me that you're not excited to read Look Before You Leap. I mean, such an amazing setup. I love a class difference. And of course, a hero who is trying desperately to avoid a bunch of debutantes that want to marry him. Now, if you haven't read book 1 yet, don't worry, I've got you. Earlier this year, my co-blogger Suzanne shared some of her thoughts on All's Fair in Love and War, because that was one of her favorite books of 2024. It's got one of my favorite historical setups with a grumpy ex-military guy and a governess who's way too modern for him, plus surprise childcare and a big messy dog. So it's definitely got all the awkward tension, a feminist heroine, and a reluctant family man energy. So here's Suzanne telling us all about what her favorite parts were when they were bickering, and honestly, I love all of that as well. So let's rewind and hear what she had to say about book 1.
My other historical one, which actually came out this year, was All's Fair in Love and War by Virginia Heath. I enjoyed that one as well. She's like trained as a governess and then sent to like this really stuffy guy's house to look after his kids. No, not his kids. His sister had dropped off her kids at his house and gone off on holiday, gone to Egypt, I think it was, for like a few months. And he's just like, what the fuck? Temporary governess to like help him, and he's like a stuffy, uptight military guy, and she's like quite, feminist for the time, and doesn't believe in all the traditional methods of teaching children. So they kind of clash, but he's kind of stuffy and awkward, but he's also like severely overworked. It shows you in the book, and like he doesn't handle things well sometimes just because he's genuinely so tired, which I fully empathize with. But then it shows you these really sweet moments of him with his like niece or nephew or both of them, where you can tell he really loves them, but he has absolutely no idea what to do with them, and all he has is this like really strict military background, so that's what he thinks is best. So it does a great job of like, he could be really unlikable, but Virginia Heath, who's obviously a really experienced author, she knows what she's doing, like makes him really likable, and then obviously makes the heroine, as modern women, we completely agree with heroine saying. So like, my favorite part of the books was like when they were clashing rather than when they were like realizing they were in love, to be honest. But no, it was a really solid, great read. It was really funny. They had the like obligatory big messy dog as well, causing havoc as well. So it was really cute. I really liked it.
And that was Suzanne telling us all about one of her favorite books of 2024, All's Fair in Love and War. But seriously, don't you just love a grumpy hero who has no idea what to do with children and ends up falling in love for the one woman who challenges him at every turn? I think Suzanne nailed it with that one. And honestly, both books in the series give such great rom-com energy while still feeling true to the historical setting. So whether you start with All's Fair in Love and War or you dive straight into Look Before You Leap, Virginia Heath gives us the perfect mix of heart, humor, and some historical chaos as well. Both of them stand alone, so if you're craving some historical romance that feels modern, that it's funny, that it's full of heart, then you want to add Look Before You Leap to your list. It's got all the banter, the yearning, the characters who are just honestly so fun and you'll want to root for, plus a good old surprise birthday party full of marriage-minded debutantes. So no pressure, right? You can grab both books in the Miss Prentice's Protégées series out now. Book 1, All's Fair in Love and War, and Book 2, Look Before You Leap, which is also out this week. We want to thank again Virginia for hanging out with us here today, and Suzanne for her fangirling moment from the archives. And I hope this helped you add some more books to your TBR. If you haven't started reading historical romance, then this is a great place to start. Let me know in the comments if you've read this series or if you've read any of Virginia Heath's books, or what are your favorite historical rom-coms as well. I'm always looking to add more to my TBR. If you're tuning in from YouTube, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our videos, and subscribe for free to our Substack so you don't miss any of the content that we post across all of our platforms. If you want to know what other books came out this week as well, you can tune in to our Novel Hour replay. Now this week we talked about the best audiobooks, so there's lots of audiobook recommendations as well as the new releases for the week and some bookish world news, including some book to screen adaptations that I cannot wait. I'm super excited about. So if you haven't watched it yet, head on over there for that. But in the meantime, that's all I have for you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.